Part 1. The Shadow of the Clutching Hand. In the early 1900s, New York was a bustling city of opportunity, but beneath its glittering surface lurked a seedy underworld of crime and corruption. A man named Giuseppe Morello was one of the earliest known crime bosses, and he rose to power by exploiting the Italian immigrants who flocked to the city in search of a better life. Morello was a tall, imposing figure with piercing eyes and a distinctive physical characteristic, a deformity on his right hand that earned him the nickname the Clutching Hand. This was a name that struck fear into the hearts of his enemies and kept the members of his criminal empire in line. Born in Corleone, Sicily in 1867, Morello immigrated to the United States in 1892. He arrived with his family and settled in New York's Lower East Side. He quickly became embroiled in the dangerous world of organized crime, where extortion, racketeering, and loan sharking were the order of the day. Morello's intelligence and ruthlessness helped him rise through the ranks, eventually forming the infamous Morello Gang, which would later evolve into the notorious Mafia. The Lower East Side was rife with crime, and Morello was at the center of it all. The Italian immigrants were struggling to survive, and Morello offered them protection for a price. Those who paid him found solace in his iron grip, while those who didn't faced his wrath. His influence extended far beyond the immigrant community. He was known to have connections with corrupt politicians and law enforcement officials, ensuring his illegal activities were largely unchecked. One autumn evening in 1909, a man named Antonio Comito found himself trapped in the Clutching Hand's grip. Comito had borrowed money from Morello to start a small business, but he had fallen behind on his payments. Morello, known for his brutal methods of collecting debts, sent his henchmen to remind Comito of his obligations. Terrified, Comito turned to the one man he believed could help him, Detective Joseph Petrosino of the New York Police Department. Petrosino was a hard-nosed, fearless detective who had been waging a one-man war against the city's criminal underworld. He had a personal vendetta against Morello, as he believed the crime boss was responsible for the murder of his brother. Petrosino devised a plan to bring down Morello and his gang. He knew that Morello was the mastermind behind a series of counterfeiting operations that had flooded the city. If he could gather enough evidence, he could put Morello behind bars and cripple his criminal empire. Working tirelessly, Petrosino and his team of detectives followed leads, conducted stakeouts, and interrogated witnesses. Eventually, they were led to an unassuming house in the Italian neighborhood of Highland, New Jersey, where they discovered a hidden counterfeiting operation in the basement. It was the break they needed. With the evidence in hand, Petrosino arrested Morello and several members of his gang. The case went to trial, and the courtroom was packed with spectators eager to catch a glimpse of the infamous Clutching Hand. Morello's defense attorney tried to cast doubt on the evidence, but Petrosino's relentless pursuit of justice paid off. In 1910, Morello was found guilty of counterfeiting and sentenced to 25 years in federal prison. Morello's conviction marked a significant blow to his criminal empire, but it wasn't the end of his story. He continued to run his operation from behind bars. Chapter 2. The Wolf's Lair. In the shadows of New York City's Little Italy, a man with a fierce reputation ruled the criminal underworld. Ignazio Lupo, better known as Lupo the Wolf, was a brutal mobster who played a significant role in the rise of the American Mafia. Born in Palermo, Sicily in 1877, Lupo immigrated to the United States in the late 1890s, bringing with him a wealth of experience in organized crime. Upon arriving in New York, Lupo quickly made a name for himself in the Italian-American community by setting up a grocery store on Broome Street, which served as a front for his illicit operations. Behind the seemingly innocent storefront, Lupo engaged in extortion, loan sharking, and other criminal activities. With his keen mind for business and ruthless nature, Lupo soon formed an alliance with Giuseppe Morello, the head of the powerful Morello crime family. The two mobsters joined forces, with Lupo marrying Morello's half-sister, Salvatrice, to strengthen their alliance. Together, they expanded their criminal empire and terrorized the city. In 1902, the NYPD established the Italian Squad, an elite unit of Italian-American detectives tasked with combating the growing power of the Mafia in the city. Detective Joseph Petrosino led the squad and was determined to bring down the likes of Lupo and Morello. Despite the relentless pursuit of the Italian Squad, Lupo and Morello continued their nefarious activities, including a highly profitable counterfeiting operation. They had managed to flood the market with fake banknotes. On one fateful night in 1909, Petrosino's investigation led him to a counterfeiting workshop. Along with his trusted detectives, he raided the location, discovering a treasure trove of evidence, printing presses, counterfeit notes, and the inks used to produce the fakes. As a result, Petrosino managed to apprehend several members of the Morello crime family, including Morello himself. However, Lupo the Wolf managed to evade capture. In 1917, Lupo was finally captured by law enforcement when they raided another counterfeiting operation. Charged with his role in the production and distribution of fake banknotes, Lupo was tried along several other high-ranking members of the Morello crime family. The trial was a sensation, with the public eager to witness the downfall of one of the city's most notorious criminals. The evidence against Lupo was overwhelming, and he was ultimately found guilty. He was sentenced to 30 years in federal prison, joining Morello in Atlanta Penitentiary. Lupo the Wolf died in 1947. His once mighty criminal empire reduced to a shadow of its former glory. His story serves as a stark reminder of the rise and fall of the American Mafia, an organization that will continue to evolve and adapt in the face of adversity. One final note on the story. Modern researchers argue that the two men actually led separate crime families. Morello heading up the Corleonesi-based group and Lupo leading a Palermitani family.